What's happening, YouTube? This is the Hiking Viking coming at you again. So today we are smoking ribs. So go out here. I got my fire started a little while ago. So the temperature gauge on these Oklahoma Joes is a little bit off. I've noticed that they're off about 20-25 degrees, and part of that is because they mount them up here at the top. To get a true reading, it needs to be mounted down here at the grate, because the heat rises, the heat gathers here, so it's actually about 15 to 25 degrees cooler at the grate. So in here I've got my fire going. I always start mine with charcoal, and then I like to use post oak. Any kind of hardwood I guess will probably do. I've got some walnut sitting right there, but I don't know, I think I'm going to use that to build something with. So post oak is hard to find around here. You generally have to go buy a bag of it, and so it gets kind of redonkulous. So I've got 3 racks of ribs. I got a couple of friends coming over here in a little bit. They own a steakhouse in town, and so they're going to come over and try out my ribs. And generally for that, I like to get St. Louis cut spare ribs, because they're already trimmed down for the most part. If you get I like to use Kansas City cut, yeah, because St. Louis, they still have that breastbone in them, and you have to do a lot of trimming. But the Kansas City cut, you don't have to do that. So for seasoning, this time I'm trying this it's Texas inspired, bold and smoky, and then I blended in. I ran out of it, but the Grill Mates sweet and smoky. Since I'm from Mississippi, we like a little bit of sweet in our barbecue. So also, if there's brown sugar in it, it'll caramelize and give it a really nice crust. So let me go out here and we'll put these on, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so we already got 1 rack of ribs on. The back corner of your smoker is always going to be the hottest point. That's where most of the heat comes through at. So I like to take the big side, the thicker side, and go back there so it has a little bit more insulation to it. And always make sure you have a water pan in there to keep moisture. So and then always keep apple cider vinegar on hand, or something to keep it moist while it's smoking. So just spray it down good. Keep it good and moist, because they can dry out if you're not careful. So close the lid. I try to do mine about between 255, 275 is where I like to keep my smoking temp. It's hard, you can't keep it exact, but as long as you don't fluctuate too much, you can your cook time will stay steady. If you fluctuate a lot, you're just going to keep shooting yourself in the foot, like when you're always checking the ribs. These ribs will take approximately 6 hours. I'll open them in about an hour and a half just to check and just see what's going on, and then I'll spritz it with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and then of course every so often I have to put wood in the firebox. It's okay to open that, but just leave your cook chamber closed as much as you can, because the old saying is, if you're looking, you ain't cooking, and it is very true. So these things work kind of like an oven, I guess. So when you're baking something in the oven, every time you open it, you lose all that temperature, and then you have to fight to get that temperature back. So with your smoke, a lot of people say, if you can't see the smoke, then you're not smoking. Well, That's not really true. This right here is about what you want. This is what they call almost a blue smoke. It's almost clear. So that means your fire is burning very clean. Usually when I smoke, the only time that I see like kind of thicker smoke is when I add a new piece of wood onto the fire. So once that wood gets fully involved, then it'll clear up. But that clear smoke is kind of what you want. So right now, since I had it open for a little bit to get those put on, I lost my temp, and then so it's working its way back up. And on this, I like to keep the needle about 300, between 275 and 300, and that's my smoking temp that I use for 90% of the things that I smoke. So yeah, just want to make sure that you keep a steady temp. Fire management is a big thing. So once I see my temp probably get to about on here where it says 275, I'll probably give it about, or once it starts dropping below 275, excuse me, then I'll go ahead and put another piece of wood on. I love this little smoker. I got it at Lowe's. It was like $400 or something. But the downside to it is the cook chamber is a decent size. Like, it's great for just around the house. I wouldn't try to smoke anything commercially on it, because I can only fit about 3 racks of ribs on here comfortably, because I don't like to, when I put something on, I don't want the meat to get much further than halfway to here, because I want to keep it, the very hot spot is over here by the firebox, so I don't want meat over there getting torched. I like to keep it over here. So eventually I'd like to get one a little bit bigger, because I do like to have folks over and we, smoke ribs and, pulled pork, and, I'll do a brisket one of these days, and things like that. So, but the firebox on this one is a little bit small. I can't put whole sticks in it, so I have to, when I do get my wood out, most of the time I have to get a saw out and cut them in half. I don't use the little chips or anything like that. I generally get the bag of the post oak, or if I cut a tree down or something, I'll cut the limbs up to a decent little length, and then when I get home I'll split them and use that. So, but yeah, so we'll come back to this in a little while, and in the meantime, hey. Alright, so now it's been about 3 hours, so I'm just going to take a peek. Oh yeah, they are looking lovely. And I'm going to hit them with a little bit more apple cider vinegar. And close this up. I'm going to give them about another 30 minutes before I wrap them. Check my fire, it's doing okay. But my poking stick, kind of stir these coals up a little bit and go ahead and throw another piece on. Get that one going. That'll get started good. Yeah, so they are looking wonderful. I'm keeping the clear smoke going for the most part. So you just don't want that white billowy smoke. It gives it a really strong earth flavor, and it doesn't. It's not a very true smoke, I don't guess. So, but yeah, so we out here doing that, and Got my friends Brant, Julia, and Ralph coming over in about 45 minutes or so. So yeah, it's a wonderful day out. I've just been cleaning up the house and mowed the yard. So, you know, I was gonna work on some flags, and with so much other stuff to do, I was just like, you know, I've got time tomorrow after work that I can do it. At least get the wood cut, sanded, and then ripped down and torched. That doesn't take too long. So I figured it's my last day off for a while, so I might as well just enjoy the day. So yeah, so we'll get back with y'all here in a little bit. Alright, so now what we're doing is wrapping. So I always take a big sheet of the heavy duty full. I'll spray my apple cider vinegar in there. I'll just pull my rack off. These are looking rather lovely. Soak them down really good because we're not gonna unwrap them for about another 2.5 hours. So I've already got the other racks wrapped, and I ran out of full. And my friends that were coming over, they were going to be coming in like another 30 minutes. So I just said, hey, can y'all stop and grab full while you're getting their stuff? And so they said, sure, because they're all some friends. And so these wraps good and tight. Put them back on. Also got some beer brats going. So yeah, these are looking rather amazing. So I got about, let's see, it's 10 after 5. Yeah, so I got about another 2 hours. So we'll be good. Alright, so this is the aftermath of the ribs. My friends are outside and they've been waiting patiently for these to be finished. And they are. So now I'm just going to cut off a 2 rib section on each one. I pulled them and let them rest for about 15 minutes. And me and my buddy Brant, we each tried a little piece. And they are pretty rock star, to be honest with you. So cutting them can kind of be a bit of a challenge sometimes because you never know where the ribs are going to fall. So, but yeah, there's a difference between competition ribs and ribs that you actually eat at the house. Competition, they want you to, from what I understand, because I've got some friends that do competition. Matt Burns, love you. But they want like a bite mark out of them. As you can see, these would not fit into competition because they are literally fall off the bone ribs, and that's just what I like. Sometimes I wonder what kind of crack these competition people are smoking. But, so I'm going to cut up 1 rack, and if we eat it all, then shit, we eat it all. So, low power. But I love doing ribs because they're a semi-short smoke. They're only like a half a day. When you do a pork butt or pulled pork or whatever, you know, you're looking at anywhere from 12 to 15 hours. You can't guarantee the time because your fire is always fluctuating. But yeah, so like ribs is generally a 6 hour. I had a little bit of not necessarily a fire issue, but there was a time period where it was getting up to around the 300 mark, and then down to like the 250 mark. So just changing a few things up. So it took a little bit longer. But yeah, we're gonna have a great meal tonight. Here comes. Here's Julia.
Hi. What's going on?
She doesn't know that I'm filming a YouTube thing.
Oh, hi, YouTube.
Oh, hi.
I'm just trying to get me some meat.
Hey. Well,
Ooh,
give
look
it a
at
shot.
that.
So,
Where do I start?
wherever you want to, sweetie.
Right there. Oh, it ripped right off. Ooh. That's good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Brant's already had some.
That was fantastic.
So, anyway,
Oh, fruit
we're gonna eat. We'll see y'all later.